Were you ever sitting in the class and wondering, will I ever use it? Is it useful? When I was a student, I had a lot of questions like this, sitting in the class, learning and memorizing a lot of things which I was so sure I will never use. And in today's video, I would like to explain and I would like to share my opinion about what they don't teach you at school and what is important. Now, I'm fresh graduate from a very highly competitive program, but I realized there's so many things I haven't learned during the studies, and they're so important. There's so many things one must know in order to be successful or happy in the life. Recently, I started to meet and follow so many people who didn't finish the high school, who didn't finish the master program or the bachelor program, the university, and they're so successful on many levels: financial level, health, spirituality. And I realized they don't probably need a degree, but what if we already studied and we are still missing those things? I finished a book from Kiyosaki, Why A Students Work for the C Students, and it was also a nice reflection of what Kiyosaki is describing. So I kind of put together his thoughts and my thoughts as well. First of all, I think university and schools fail at critical thinking. You usually have A, B, C answer and you have to choose one of them, and a lot of creativity, it's often not awarded. However, in the life there are so many situations which you have to solve and being creative and bringing unique solutions, training your brain to be reactive, to be able to quickly decide, to evaluate the best opportunity and solution, and just seeing things from another point of view is very, very crucial. And I don't want to say that all schools fail at this. My personal experience is that in my undergraduate program in Austria and in the Lund during my Erasmus Mundus program, I felt that we already were given many points of view and we were in charge of making the decision. I feel universities are quite rigid and they want you to follow the stream. And I feel like the really successful people are the ones who stand out of this stream, and therefore training your critical thinking, it should be one of your priorities. If you're studying right now, I would suggest to study in different environments, joining different study groups, or going on exchange, because this will always bring you new light, new points of view to a lot of things because of the different educational approaches, different teachers, different cultures. The second thing universities fail to bring and raise awareness about the power of the internet. Well, I understand the internet here, it appeared in the 90s, but that's more than 30 years. However, a lot of professors and a lot of teachers are older than 30 years, so they probably grew up without the internet. However, the internet is nowadays everything. It's your place to start a business, it's your place to learn anything from coding to languages, it's your bank, it's a playground where you interact with your friends. The power of the internet is massive, and I feel the universities and schools still stick to these old-fashioned books and papers when we have this old crypto world and content creators, economy. There are so many things we can do with the internet, and in my opinion, memorizing things, it's nonsense. Einstein once said, never memorize something that you can look up. And in my opinion, this is so accurate, because nowadays you can find everything on the internet within a second, and it makes no sense to occupy your brain capacity with all those dates. It's rather important, it's much more important to be able to critically evaluate those information, as I mentioned in the first point. The third thing university are not so good at and they don't teach you, it's the psychology, how to talk with people, how to interact, what is the emotional intelligence, how to negotiate. There are so many things which we can learn from psychology, and it's very broad industry, psychology, but working with the people, it's gonna be always important, no matter if you're employee or if you're employer. and knowing how to deal with people, how to, for example, convince them about your idea, or how to even be a good follower or leader. This all is somehow connected to psychology. And I don't know about you, but I never had psychology lesson in my school, neither in my high school, in my university, and I find it so important. So what you can do if you didn't study psychology as your major, it's going to some workshops or reading books. Nowadays, luckily, there's so many books you can learn about and read about the psychology of people, or you can hear audiobooks or podcasts, and I find it as a very helpful, useful way. One of the holy Bible of the psychology of people and how to deal with people is How to Make Friends and Influence People. I think everyone should read that book at least. If I should pick up one book, then this would be the one. Benjamin Franklin said, "Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship." And financial management is becoming more important topic in universities and schools, I admit. But the financial budgeting, how to get out of your debt when you finish the university and you have the massive debt for paying the university, what is the compound interest, and how to choose the best bank, and how to invest. Or I know that a lot of you guys who follow me are you from the third world countries, and I'm aware that the financial instruments and the finances in those countries in comparison to Europe, everything is so difficult. When sending the money, you need to pay the commission, how to avoid all those things to get out of the poverty and have a better life. They don't teach you at school, and I don't blame the teachers because they probably don't know them either. However, it should be one of your top responsibility to educate yourself and to get the financial education, because this will assure that you will live in a peace in the future. When students have the power to decide about their finances in a young age, they feel more likely positive about the future and about the time when they will retire. From my personal experience, I find the most helpful to learn about the finances is to go to conferences and meet with the people who are dealing with those topics on a daily basis. Watching YouTube is one thing, reading books is one thing, I definitely recommend. However, meeting people in real who have different mindset, who have different values about the money, I feel that we don't talk enough about health. After the health, we can talk about better degree or better job or happy relations and a safe environment, but health is the most important thing. And now I'm referring to two groups, two kinds of health. One is mental and one is physical. Well, at school, I used to have every week at least 1 or 2 hours of the physical exercise, which at the time I was still not aware how important it is. The roots are already at school because we never talk about the mental health, how to maintain good mood, how to maintain stable emotions. And when you're growing in high school or university, this is so important because there are so many ups and downs, and we need to learn about ourselves. We need to know ourselves the best in order to be successful and calm and healthy. And unfortunately, as I said, there is almost no talk, no dialogue about this topic at schools. So what you can do is, again, going to some courses, listening to some podcasts with some experts. But what helps me a lot is to try to set a routine of working out and meditating. Honestly, I don't do it every day because I'm traveling so much, but even once a week, it's much better than not doing it at all. This helps me so much to maintain a better mood, together along with deleting my Instagram and other social media from my phone. And I think we should definitely raise much more awareness about the health, but it's also on us to take responsibility for our health. Last but not least, languages. Languages is a big topic, and nowadays when the world is getting so much globalized and you can study basically everywhere and you can outsource your company to everywhere, the world is becoming a small village, and of course English is the most spoken language. I believe that Chinese is going to be the second most spoken language in the future. However, knowing the languages is, despite the fact that we can communicate in English, so important, and it can open you many doors. And I would say English is a must. Even if you're not a native, English is, I think it will not be even counted in the future. It will be just automatic. The companies will automatically think that you speak English. In my opinion, try to immerse yourself in the language. If you're focusing on the English right now, watch movies, listen to music, listen to podcasts just in English, surround yourself with only English speaking people, and travel to English speaking country like America or the UK or whatever language you're learning. As I made a couple of videos about how I learned Spanish within a couple of weeks and months. I went to Mexico with almost zero Spanish and I learned, and learning languages is not as hard as people believe. Really, it's not. It's just about switching the environment and switching how you think in your brain. But languages are gonna be so important in the future, and it's definitely worth putting the hours into learning them. And last but not least, it's the value of mistakes. Universities and schools always show that if you've done a mistake, if you committed a mistake, that's completely wrong. You're a bad student and you're not smart enough and you're not good enough. But in life, you commit a mistake, you make mistake and you have to continue in your journey, whatever you're doing. You make mistake again and you continue. It's not about making mistakes, but it's about trying again. This is something what Kiyosaki is explaining so much, that the C students, not like the average students, they don't spend so much time being sad and being desperate. They just go and try again, whereas the A students, the very smart, they rather stop trying. And the value of mistakes is immerse, and even if you start some project and you fail, it's always better to start, to learn something from it, fail, but you already have the knowledge and you can try again, or you can try differently. And what I found really helpful, when I find some idea which I really like, I just do it. I stop spending so much time hesitating, is it good or is it bad, because then I'm paralyzed and at the end I don't do anything. So if you like something, try to use the flow and just do it, just go for it. Well, there's been 7 things which schools, universities and like the traditional institutions, in my opinion, fail to teach you. And things like value of mistakes, financial education, critical thinking, they're so important in whatever you're going to do in the life. With this video, I aim to show you that the university is not like that you will finish the institution and you will be like the perfect, all-rounded person, knowledgeable about everything. Not at all. They will bring you some specific, specialized knowledge, but being a well-rounded person, it's up to you. Don't forget about the power of the internet, so don't be sad that you haven't started earlier. And let me know what you think about the video. Maybe there are other things which schools fail at your country, so let me know in the comment, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.